Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Mac here with my review slash first impressions of ReCore. Let's just get right into it. ReCore is a game with a lot of technical problems, but it's also a game that is fundamentally enjoyable and challenging. Now, it isn't perfect by any means. The graphics are underwhelming, even though they're quite stylish. The loading times are excruciatingly long, and there are frame rate drops. The game even crashed on me a few times throughout my journey, but when all was said and done, it kept me returning. It's also the first Xbox Play Anywhere title, which means that I was able to seamlessly go back and forth from my Xbox and PC while keeping my progress. Now, the story is somewhat basic and somewhat generic. You play as Jewel waking up from your cryo sleep and shit's gone array, and obviously it's your job to fix it. As you progress, you'll meet new Corebot companions, unlock new gun colors, and battle enemies with them. These add a layer of complexity to the battles, especially if you're looking to be efficient, and each Corebot has a unique ability, meaning you'll want to choose your companions wisely, especially later on in the game. You'll find yourself collecting blueprints, crafting parts, and upgrading your Corebots throughout your journey as well. In many ways, the Corebots themselves end up being the major focal point of the story. To its core, no pun intended, ReCore is a Metroidvania exploration game. You'll be revisiting areas with new abilities to access new parts of that area. It's both a platformer and a shooter at the same time, and these mechanics work well together. Although it is an open world game, it feels quite linear in many ways. You will be forced to return to older areas and complete easy side objectives in order to progress the main story, and vice versa. It is in theory an open world game when it comes to the exploration aspect, but not as much when it comes to the objective completion. The biggest draw of the game for me were the dungeons, which are optional areas that have the best loot locked deep within them. These have a very simple to play but hard to master style of game that I love, and you'll be given multiple secondary objectives which are all required to unlock the blueprints and chests at the end. Your goal here is to complete all of the secondary objectives in order to get all of the loot in one go. And repeating dungeons to get perfect runs can be thrilling and addicting. It should also be noted that the team did an exceptional job with the music and sound, including the voice acting, which are easily some of the most standout parts of the game. Now, ReCore feels like an old school game, but it has modern touches. There's always something to do, and there's always action. There is a lot of fun to be had here. The game mechanics work well and result in above average gameplay. ReCore's best moments are during the large epic battles and difficult platforming sections. On-the-fly decision making and intuitive combat are important to ReCore's feel as well. Now, ReCore isn't the longest game, and it isn't full of the most content, but it makes do with what's there. The main storyline will take the average player over 10 hours, and perfectly completing all the dungeons and achievements will take significantly longer. ReCore is very close to being a great game, but with the many technical shortcomings, it ends up just being good. Many things we take for granted as gamers, some as simple as working waypoints, end up getting in the way of the fun here. Like I said, even with all of these problems, and even with the 2-minute loading screens, I kept returning simply for the gameplay and the game mechanics, which I think are very well fleshed out. At its budget price point of $40, I'd recommend ReCore to the average gamer, but it isn't for everyone. I think it's worth experiencing if you go in with low expectations and exercise some patience for the technical shortcomings I've mentioned. You will find enjoyable gameplay loops here. And that more or less is the end of my ReCore review. There's a lot of lost potential here, and ultimately the game feels like it wasn't ready to come out just yet. But clearly the team was onto something, because the game does offer a lot of fun and enjoyable moments. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and share it with a friend. Special shout out to the Gigs and Doc Cupcake for supporting on Patreon, and hopefully I see you guys next time. Peace.